This is a lot of baloney. Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series where we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the 19th episode of the show Power Rangers Zeo, as well as the 174th episode overall, titled Challenges. We start this episode right where we left off, with Tommy asking this random dude who he is, and he walks away with his horse, and then Trueheart shows up saying hello. Tommy says this is really weird because that guy looked just like him, but yeah, he's gone. Also, that's like a way overgeneralization, Tommy. That dude just had like long hair like you. He wanted to talk to him, and Trueheart tells him to be patient and that he needs to prove himself worthy for the answers that he seeks. Also, he'll find out about the arrowhead. Trueheart then asks Tommy if he knows what a vision quest is, and Tommy gives a PG explanation of what it is. Then Trueheart says that it's time for Tommy's, so he brings a Falcon to his arm magically. He says that this is the only way that Tommy will get the answers to his questions. The Falcon flies away, and he tells Tommy that once he touches the Falcon, he'll find his answer. But don't be weirded out if he has even more questions after that. So, Trueheart out. Later. At the youth center, Tanya, Adam, and Rocky are hanging out, and there's free lessons for boxing happening. This has piqued Adam's interest because it could give him ideas for his own style of martial arts. He goes to sign up, and Bulk and Skull come up to him asking what's going on. He then says that it's for free lessons, and turns out Stone is teaching it. And Stone says that Skull's sparring partner is a big black guy. This arc is all sorts of racist. Sprocket is learning how to box against the Cogs, and Machina and Mondo are cheering him on, and Sprocket says that he has a creature to help take care of the Rangers. Meanwhile, Tommy's running around and he sees that dude, but then he just walks away. Anyways, Stone is teaching them how to jump rope so that they can increase their agility and whatnot. Of course, Bulk and Skull are terrible because they suck at everything. Tommy's climbing some more rocks and he finds that dude again, trying to get up to him as quickly as possible, but then the dude just gets up leaving. Tommy, you're supposed to follow the damn Falcon, not this dude. Luckily, he looks up and sees the Falcon, remembering what he's supposed to be doing. The boxing lessons are over and Bulk and Skull have tied themselves up like the pigs they are. Meanwhile, Tommy is bolting as hard as possible up rocks and he sees that guy just standing there yet again. I feel like this is supposed to be a lot more interesting than it actually is. At this point, I'm almost missing snowboards going down a slope. Adam is walking down a sidewalk and he hears Sprocket, so he walks over there and then he ends up getting called over. Then Sprocket reveals himself in an industrial yard and he introduces his new monster, Punch-a-Bunch. It's morphin' time! Adam starts to box the monster, and he's actually doing pretty well for someone who's only had a single lesson so far, except for when he's not getting tossed onto the ground. Then he hits the monster back well enough, and he calls for help from Zordon, but then he gets zapped away, freaking out. Kat shows up in the youth center with Tanya and Rocky, and their communicators go off, and in a nice little moment, they almost get caught by Ernie. They get updated about how Adam is in trouble, so it's morphin' time. The three other Rangers come in fighting off the Cogs, and Sprocket tells Clank to take the fight to the big time, so they make him grow giant right away. The Rangers realize that they need the red battle Zord to be able to handle this dude. Tommy's running on the rocks and his communicator goes off. Zordon tells him that he's needed, and for a moment he says, "But Zordon, Alright. It's morphin' time." Tommy shows up with the others and he calls out the red battle Zord, which is just straight up shot out of a damn cannon from the Zord Bay. I mean, I guess that's pretty cool. Tommy gets into the Zord just hoping that he can do this. He starts beating the absolute crap out of the monster, but the monster just sprays white foam on the outside of the Zord, blocking his view. Then Tommy gets hit so hard he flies out of there, and he says that Punch-a-Bunch's glove is ruined now. Sprocket sends the monster away, and he says that he'll take care of them, and he challenges them to a fight, and the prize is a miniaturized Atom on a trophy. In the command center, they find out that the spell is connected to Punch-a-Bunch, and they realize that they need to trust Sprocket for this to work. They also reiterate that if Tommy gets distracted at all, Adam's probably gonna die, so no pressure, Tommy. In space, Sprocket is complaining about how the Rangers beat him, and Machina assures him that he'll win, and Sprocket decides that he's done playing fair. He then puts giant spikes on Punch-a-Bunch's gloves. The alarms go off in the power chamber, and Tommy's ready to take him on. Back to action. Tommy flies in the red battle Zord, getting ready for the fight while Sprocket, Clank, Orbis, and Cogs are on the sidelines watching. They use a device to make a giant ring around the two fighters, and Clank even rings a bell to start the match. It's getting weird. The two fight, and Tommy gets hit in the face again, and as soon as he hits the edge of the ring, he gets electrocuted by Sprocket. Not doing so well. The others are watching this in the power chamber, and Kat says they need to get there to help. Back to action. They show up near Sprocket and them, and Kat hits the device that made the ring, dissolving it away. Tommy uses this opportunity to beat the absolute crap out of Punch-a-Bunch, and then he just starts really wailing on this monster, hitting him in the face over and over and over again before he starts flying through the damn air, still punching this thing in the freaking face. Pretty much, Tommy has clearly won, so they demand Adam back, and Sprocket leaves, and Adam is still tiny, but then he just grows to his normal size again. Everything is a-okay. Tommy's gonna go back on his vision quest now, so later guys. In space, Mondo is pissed that Sprocket lost, and he says, like father, like son, and one of like the sickest burns this kid has ever gotten. Tommy shows up in the rocks again, and there's an avalanche happening, and he finds that guy just hanging off the side of a cliff yelling for help. Just as Tommy's about to help him, the Falcon shows up in front of him, but he ends up helping the guy anyways, not going for the Falcon. Was that supposed to be like a temptation or something? He pulls the guy up and he says that Tommy's quest is over now. The Falcon then just goes into Tommy's chest, and this guy says that he has the other half of the arrowhead. This guy is named David Trueheart, and he is Tommy's brother. They put the arrowhead together, reforming it. The end. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really digging the serialization that they have going on here. So yeah, apparently Tommy has like a secret brother that he never knew about, and they were both given half of an arrowhead as children, and I guess they were meant to find each other. Didn't Tommy like not have this arrowhead until like a year ago? Interesting to note is that David Trueheart is actually played by Jason David Frank's real brother, which is a nice little touch. Other than that, this episode's really weird and kind of wacky outside of the Tommy stuff. And it's kind of funny to me because Adam has definitely been boxing the Japanese footage like this entire season, and it's just never been mentioned until now. So how will Tommy finding his brother affect the show moving forward? Find out next time, but until then, may the power protect you.